Worth your money or waste your money? There are a lot of fragrance lists out there that always talk about fragrances that are worth it. And the biggest list of them all comes from Fragrantica. Well, there's others, but the ones that a lot of people follow are Fragrantica. They have their 2024 list of fragrances. Some of them I agree with, and some of them I really do not. So I decided to make a video about it. Again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you like the video, like it. If you don't like it anyway and subscribe anyway, because at the end of the day, it helps the channel out. I have some of those fragrances back here in my personal collection. And if you want to see my entire collection, you can check those out on my Fragrantica page. I actually have it here in the bio. Let's open up the laptop. Now let's take a look at Fragrantica's page. This is Fragrantica's best fragrances of 2024. It's the 8th annual Fragrantica Community Award. Now, some of these, like I said, I agree with. Some of these are wasting your money on. Let's start off with Parfums de Marly's Althaïr. And I have Althaïr up in my collection as well. Althaïr is a beautiful fragrance with the cinnamon, the cardamom, the bourbon vanilla, the praline, the gaiac wood, the tonka, a little bit of almond in there. It is a really amazing fragrance from the house of Parfums de Marly. And it lasts a long time, especially after it's macerated. But the only problem is liquid burn. That is their biggest problem. It is close enough that if you don't have the money for it, just get liquid burn. But caution, liquid burn is going to smell different. Just a little bit different after about 4 to 5 months of letting it sit. That's because the maceration process on the original as well as liquid burn makes them smell just a little bit different. But it is definitely worth the money if you have the money. Next, La Maison Elixir by Jean-Paul Gaultier, or Jean-Paul Gaultier, however you say it. Now, this is the golden child, and I also have it back here in my collection. Sorry, keep the camera. But it is a great fragrance. Lavender, vanilla, a little bit of mint, honey. Listen, most of that you're not going to smell. Just being honest with you. You're definitely going to get a lot of that vanilla and honey and tonka bean, a little bit of tobacco, maybe a touch of lavender. When I mean a touch, I mean slight bit of lavender. There is nothing that I found that actually makes sense to it. Now you do have this Rayhan, but the Rayhan does not have the elegance of that fragrance. Do I agree that this should be on this list for Fragrantica? Is it worth the money? Yes, I do agree. But ultimately, I think La Maison Parfum is better, but this is also a great fragrance. Another one that I really enjoy is Oud Maracujá by Maison Crivelli. Now, this is a beautiful take on oud. There is no fragrance that I have ran into that even mirrors the quality of this. Now, some people would say Ombre Nomad. Ombre Nomad by Louis Vuitton. Sorry, I don't know why that took me a minute. But it is also a beautiful fragrance. But something about Ombre Nomad that smells a little watered down, in my personal opinion. This is so much better. Now, all things being equal, French Avenue, the same people who make liquid burn, have their version of it. Is it close? Not that much, in my personal opinion. So if you got the money, because it is not cheap, I would definitely recommend that fragrance. Now we're going to go to the one that I completely disagree with. Valentino Born in Roma Intense. And the funny thing about Born in Roma Intense, I actually have it too, right here. Now, this right here, this Born in Roma Valentino Intense, it is good, don't get me wrong, it is good. But the problem is, longevity on this bad boy is not the best. You're looking at about 4 hours, and that's very disappointing because it is a beautiful fragrance. If you want one from Valentino, in my personal opinion, that is worth the money, what you need to get is Coral Fantasy. Just trust me, look it up. Coral Fantasy is worth the money versus Born in Roma Intense. That doesn't mean Born in Roma is a bad fragrance, but it's just save your money on it. Get Coral Fantasy. Trust me, it makes sense. This has vanilla, the lavender, the vetiver. Very simple on the note breakdown. This longevity right here is a complete lie. I'm going to be the one that's going to say it. Like I say, I am not sponsored by none of these. So I'm going to be honest with you. This right here is a complete lie on the longevity. I've tested it. cousins tested it, wife tested it, and she usually has about a good 2 to 3 hours more on skin on the fragrances on her end. Yeah, it's not worth it. I would definitely skip it because it is not a waste of money, but kind of is a waste of money when you got Core Fantasy sitting there. Next on the waste money list, and this one right here really got on my nerves, and I've tried it multiple times. It is Acqua di Giorgio's Parfum. And the reason why it's a waste of money, because Acqua di Giorgio discontinued Perfumo. Perfumo was the best thing smoking from this brand. It was the best thing ever from this brand. And they got rid of it. And it sucks so much that they did. But this right here seems like what they did was they tried to mix, and I knew it was going to show up here, Profondo and Perfumo together, and to make that note. And it just did not work. In my personal opinion, the longevity is about the same. It's a decent amount of longevity. And the sillage, it's not that strong. It's not. It sucks because Acqua di Giorgio usually pump out good stuff, especially they do a very well-rounded marine note. This one has bergamot, rosemary, sage, geranium, patchouli. You're not really going to smell, well, you're going to smell the rosemary, but a lot of the other notes, rosemary, marine, and bergamot is really what you're going to smell on this fragrance, in my personal opinion. It is not a bad fragrance, but if you can find Perfumo, get it, or just get Profondo if you can't find Perfumo, you'll be fine. This one right here is a waste of money. Next on the list, the way these things look, and it may actually be more than 10, is Qahwa. I have to disagree. And I have Qahwa and I have Khamrah. And I know I'm saying Qahwa wrong, I think. The regular Khamrah is so much better. It is so much better. It is not Angel Share. People stop trying to make it a clone of Angel Share. Look at me, it is not Angel Share. It is in the same ballpark, but it's on a different base. It smells great. Qahwa does not smell bad, but I would not put Qahwa over Khamrah any day. Both of them are cheap, so really, relatively, you can get both of them honestly under $100 together. But I would honestly say just do the regular Khamrah. The regular Khamrah will suit you better than this Qahwa. And I'm a guy who loves coffee. The main thing is that it's just Khamrah and they added a coffee note. And I love coffee. But I would still wear Khamrah any day. So skip this one. Just go get Khamrah. Next, there's going to be more hate in this video than I thought it was initially. Creed Aventus Absolu. Hear me out. It smells good. It just does not last. Now, you got the blackcurrant, the grapefruit, the pineapple, nutmeg, citron, ginger, patchouli, vetiver, oat moss, the staples, right, of a Creed Aventus fragrance. The problem is, you see that longevity is all over the place. Most of these people here on this long lasting lying to themselves. Hot take, right? They're lying to themselves. It doesn't, I think a lot of them spray it so much that it gets nose blind, and so they think that it still goes on. But hey, that's just my hot take. I honestly think that Creed at this point is a money grab, all because they've been sold and bought and sold and bought. The artistry is gone. Now it's commercialism. It's capitalism at this point. So I do not think that you should deal with Creed Absolute for the price point. If it was cheaper, I would agree. Because it's not a bad smelling fragrance, it's a good smelling fragrance. But the price to smell to quality ratio is trash. Just being honest with you. I would not recommend that. I would recommend its clone. The Club de Nuit, I think you pronounce it Prives, if I'm not mistaken, by Armani. I would recommend that. Or another one that I would recommend is Supremacy, Not Only Intense. And the reason being that they are showing up so much here in these suggestions of like what it reminds me of is because that DNA has been cloned so much. And sorry, it's actually the Supremacy Collector's Edition. I wanted to make sure that I was 100% correct on that. It's actually the Collector's Edition. It's just that DNA has been cloned so much that it's just not worth getting that overpriced fragrance and putting it here on this list. I think there's just a lot of fanboys who added that to that list. Next up, Paradise Garden. Cool thing about Paradise Garden, I got it back in my collection, y'all. I got it back. If y'all seen my old videos, y'all know that I did have it, but now I got it back in my collection. I actually agree. And Paradise Garden took a minute to grow on me. The reason why it took a minute to grow on me is because when it was biased. And the biases came from what they described the fragrance to be. and it came to be a lot more woodier. Like this accord breakdown is wrong. They should put this coconut where woody is at and bring woody up near green. That's what it is. It is a woody, slight coconut fragrance that somehow is fresh, but not fresh at the same time. It's very unique in the sense that there's not really anything in the house of JPG that will match this fragrance. Just look at some of the notes here. You have green notes, watery notes, mint, ginger, coconut, fig, salt, tonka bean, and sandalwood. Honestly, what I think this really should have is cedar, woody notes, and sandalwood. You have a little bit of tonka, a little bit of salt, and that coconut is way at the bottom. That's what this is. It is a great fragrance, and I don't think there's anything out there, even a clone, that can really match the elegance of this. So JPG, good job. It's worth the money. Next, again, I'm gonna have to, a lot of hate on this list. It's one of the worst Tom Fords I've smelled. And I love the regular ombre leather. This is Eau de Ombre Leather by Tom Ford. I don't know what they did with the beloved fragrance of ombre leather, but they really messed it up. And based off these notes, you would think it'd be something nice. You think that the leather would be kind of sweet with a little bit of spice and cardamom with the ginger and the coriander and the cardamom on top. No, it's not. It is not. This is one that they really should have just kept it between these two right here, the ombre leather and the ombre leather parfum, because it is really not worth it. It does not remind you of any of these fragrances down here. Some people say it's godlike. Me personally, I do not like the scent. So this is one of those that I would honestly say that you will have to sample, because if you taking my word for it, I can be wrong. I have hot takes all the time. This is not it. You can skip it, save your money on it. Just save your money on it. Myself by YSL, I have it back there somewhere. The Parfum version is beautiful. It is a beautiful fragrance. I had the original YSL myself, and I hated it. I thought it was very disgusting. But the Parfum version was actually very well put together. It smells like their private line of the Saint Laurent. It smells like their private line in the sense of quality. Longevity and sillage is pretty much on point what people are saying. It's for the guys, just being honest with you. But women can wear it too. It's kind of unisex, but it's for the guys. It is, first comment, as you can see, probably the best designer release of 2024. And it is. It's definitely worth the money. Pick it up if you can. You can find it on discount, just like Uomo. But pick it up if you can. It's really, honestly, worth the money. All right, we're going to do one more. And this is from the niche side of the house. Neurotic Delight by Initio Parfums. Neurotic Delight was worth the hype when it came out, and it is still worth the hype now. It is a beautiful fragrance. It is a beautiful fragrance. The way they did the cherry is like a black, dark cherry, like a really, really dark cherry mixed with that cognac. It is a beautiful fragrance. I know I keep saying it. Trust me, I've went through a whole bottle of this stuff. It is addictive. And I do recommend people picking it up. Pick it up. This is a great one from the house of Initio. It is absolutely gorgeous. Y'all see the notes. Y'all see the notes on this, man. And don't worry about that little bit of rose. You can barely smell it. It is just blended together so perfectly. And it is actually stronger than what they say on screen. It is so much stronger than that. I thank you for coming back here with Ronnie Fragrances. And this time we had our friend the handy dandy laptop. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We're going to be doing more content, y'all. I'm trying to push out this content as much as I can. And I appreciate y'all coming back and rocking with me. Until next time, Ronnie Fragrances.